What are you looking for when you're deciding to invest in a company? What are perhaps two of the key things that you're looking for?
So from my side, when I evaluate startup before making investment decision, there are four important things. The first one is the strategic partnership that they can have with our limited partners, the corporation. Second, sounds classic, but that's the truth. It's about the founder itself, the management team. So because having idea, everyone can has the same idea, right? But the founders, the way they execute it, it's actually that gonna differentiate whether your business will be succeed or not. And the third thing is actually the scalability and also the market opportunity, the market size itself. So for example, in Southeast Asia, if I find a company that really interesting, let's say in Singapore, but the product is cannot be scalable to other country, I won't invest. Why? Because Singapore is very small, right? It's only 5 million people. So for Southeast Asia, my thesis is very simple. If you want to win Southeast Asia, you need to win in Indonesia. We have 260 million people. So scalability and also market size is very, very important for me. And the fourth, last but not least, is actually the technology defensibility, because it's something that related to the entry level barrier of the startup itself, whether your product can be easily copied by other competitor or not. So what kind of your defensibility, what is your competitive advantage, why your product will be the winner in the market compared to the another competitor. From what I learned after this 1 week program, actually all the entrepreneurs in Australia, they realized that if they focus on domestic, it's small market, 26 million people, right? If I'm not mistaken. So since the beginning, I think they already have the spirit that since the first day you build your venture or your company, that you need to think globally. That yes, my product can be scalable. Yes, my product can serve market in another country, and yes, my company can go global.
So, Alex, Chandra, how much skills training do you have to do within your own company?
You gotta admit, there are some kind of gap between the universities and the on-ground situation, right? So yeah, we basically very passionate in developing our people.
In fact, you're creating it's like a training center, a center of excellence in Bandung.
We are developing a R&D center, one in Bandung, one in Surabaya, and hopefully maybe some other cities in the future, hopefully. We believe that AI is the next big thing in Indonesia, so it makes sense if we do an R&D center on AI. Australia is very focused on the B2B side, right? While Indonesia is very, very strong in the C2C side. So maybe we can learn from that. And I see a lot also that Australia have lots of initiative in pushing that digital ecosystem. Let's say by providing a Sydney Startup Hub. That's one of the coolest thing I see in Australia. I mean, the government basically push everyone to be in the same place and basically in a way pushing them to collaborate. And I'm amazed basically.
Tika, thank you so much for your time. What are you doing here in Australia?
So yeah, we're here actually by the invitation from the Australia government, from DFAT. We're a bunch of startup players, ecosystem actually from Indonesia. We really want to benchmark with the ecosystem here in Australia. What kind of support from the government that is given to the startup players? How is the VC going here in Australia? What kind of emerging startup players, what kind of problem that this startup wants to solve, so that we can learn and potentially maybe create a new partnership between startups in Indonesia and Australia.
Wow, that would be great. So what's your feeling at the moment? Is Australia a country that you could work with? Is the startup scene here something that you could work with?
Oh my god, like this past 10 days, I feel really enlightened. We got the chance to talk to a lot of people and sharing ideas. So I think, yeah, as Australia is, like very mature in the Australia startup ecosystem, and we're really looking forward to have more partnerships.
So, can you give an example of how you could work with an Australian startup? What are one of the ideas that perhaps has come into your head?
Yeah, so yesterday we had a discussion with one of the cybersecurity players in Australia, and the thing is that when it comes down to fintech in Indonesia, sometimes we feel the threat of having a cyber attack, of having the sense of insecurity if we want to pass through the information for the financial information from our customer.
Tell us a little bit about Kudo too, well known in Indonesia and Southeast Asia, but not so well known in Australia. So give us a bit of a picture.
Yeah, so Kudo is so there are a lot of traditional retailers in Indonesia. It's very similar to maybe Easy Market in Australia, but it's available in tier 2, tier 3 cities in rural villages. And these traditional retailers sell everyday items like shampoo, instant noodles. We're actually wanting to leverage their product lines to be financial services points, so that when people go to these stores, they can also do bank transfer without actually needing to have a bank account. In Indonesia, actually, those people who have bank account are only 35%. So 65% of Indonesian population actually don't have bank account or actually live far away from the bank. So of course, we want to empower these people to be able to be more active in doing transactions.